So Zepla expressed some degree of, you know, frustration with people that are talking about like the Hogwarts Legacy thing, and people have like harassed the shit out of her for it. And we're probably not going to watch this whole thing. I'll just watch a bit of it, but I just want to look through it.
First, I want to talk about the
I saw this yesterday because she was actually trending on Twitter, if you can believe that. Let me see if she's still trending on Twitter. Is this still happening, or at least for me? No, it seems as though it's not. So, okay, it must have just been yesterday.
A little bit before I get into it, because I've seen some pretty wild shit in my chat. Haven't even got started, and I already see some pretty wild. Like, it's such a kind person. You always put others before yourself, and the whole time. Think about that. Think about that, first of all. I genuinely think this is so stupid.
Oh, Mage T's in my stream. I know him.
It's not just stupid, though.
There's Free Jam, too. He's also in my stream.
It is dangerous. So, yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, here we go.
First thing I would say is, I definitely think that you can, in many cases, separate the art from the artist. Do you think that I should stop listening to Pink Floyd? Do you think that I should not support Spotify, which gives royalties to Roger Waters, who's in Pink Floyd, because he is a piece of shit?
I'll take her word for it. I don't know.
He is a Russian shill. He
What?
actively campaigns against Ukraine and like pro-invasion.
Why?
He is an absolute human garbage.
Is he?
But
that's crazy.
He contributed to some of the best music that's ever been made.
Bro, like, I still listen to Kanye. Like, I'm not sorry. Yeah, same. Yeah, what are we talking about here?
Will I not like it? Like, does that make the music of Pink Floyd less? Should we just not listen to it anymore? Not support Spotify? Not support any platform that he might get $1 of royalties from? No. No, I don't think so.
No, it's not going to happen.
You said every time you say you cannot resist the support of a transphobic fascist because every other thing you consume is also unethical, is honestly complete whataboutism and doesn't do much. So much highlight hypocrisy.
People use the word whataboutism whenever they use it as a defense whenever their obvious inconsistency gets called out. They're like, so you're mad about this, but what about the 10 other things that are just like this that you're not mad about that you're actively supporting? Like, oh, that's just whataboutism, guys. That's totally different. It's just like, listen, I read on Wikipedia that anytime that somebody engages in whataboutism, it's just that they're wrong. So you're wrong, and so that's all there is to it. I'm right. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about how I'm right again. Okay, let's get back on track.
Rather than just try and draw attention away from trans people's actual criticisms. I would not celebrate and I would not promote blind consumerism. I've heard some people say, oh, well, it's fine because, you know, it doesn't matter. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to think about what we pay for. We don't have to think about the choices that we make. I don't agree with that, actually. I think it's good that people are thinking about where their money goes and they're asking themselves, you know,
I think it's good too. I think it's good that people think about what they spend their money on and they have the autonomy to make ethical decisions on in the constraints that they choose for themselves. I think the problem is always whenever you decide that your ethical constraints should be everybody else's and then you shame people for not adhering to them.
This amount of support going to then result in something that I would never want? Will $1 that I spend go to someone who will then give that to someone else, who will then give that to someone else who might use that on something that I don't want.
Here, let me do a description of why this is a waste of time. Why talking about this is a waste of time with these people. Okay. Let's look at. So imagine this is watch time. Okay. Time. Watched. So this is at the beginning of the video, so it would be 100% of people would be at the beginning of the video, right? So this is like basically the time of the video. It's like 28 minutes, 1 minute, and this is 28 minutes, okay? So 100% of people at the beginning of the video will be watching it because it's at the beginning of the video, right? So this is how, and right here is where they're making their comments. This is where they comment, okay? They're not going to watch the video because they don't need to watch the video because they know they're right. That's it. They're not going to listen to your counter argument. They're not going to hear what you're saying. You cannot use logic on them because they are not logical. Do not try to logic a person out of a position that they did not logic themselves into. It doesn't work. They're immune to it.
If your answer to that is, yeah, I mean, that is your call to make. But in reality, I don't think that it is possible to have that level of like basically what you're telling people to do is that they need to check every dollar that you ever spent at any business, and then go check to see everybody who got that dollar at that business, and then go check to see what they voted for and what they're campaigning for and what they like and what they don't like. And we have to agree with everything that they have ever.
That's insane. Yeah.
Supported politically. We have to completely agree with all the political opinions of everybody that is involved with any kind of business.
Well, here's the reason why people like doing boycotts. Because boycotts don't require effort. That's why. It is so easy to sit on your ass and complain about something rather than actually work towards any sort of a meaningful change. And the only change that these people even try to make are changes on change.org.
That we promote. That's batshit. That's crazy.
It's slacktivism. It is.
First of all. Next thing I would say. Some people are out here saying, and by the way, this isn't even like Pink Floyd. This isn't even like Roger Waters with Pink Floyd. Because Roger Waters was directly involved with Pink Floyd. JK is not even involved in this game. She's... this is not gonna... It wouldn't make or break her at all. If the game is a success, if the game is a flop, this isn't... She's a billionaire. She doesn't give a shit.
That's a lot of money.
She already... This is a pre-existing, highly successful franchise.
Roger Waters do? I was some asshole.
And it's not going anywhere. She has a theme park.
I never really liked.
She has
I never really
merch. She
Pink
has
Floyd that
books.
much.
She
Sorry.
has a shitload of money.
I'm just never
already,
a big fan.
And it's not going to go anywhere. First of all, so keep all that in mind. But she's not adept. She's not involved with creation of the game.
You didn't do
She
drugs.
might
That's
get
why.
some money.
All my friends that do drugs love Pink Floyd.
I personally think it's negligible what she would get. But here's the other thing. People then say, well, it's not about the money.
It's about
It's
sending
not
a
about the
message.
money. It's about her influence that she will get. It's her influence that she will use, and then she will use this influence in unsavory ways, in ways that I don't like. Why? Because the argument is that she believes that the success of her franchise equals endorsement of her political views. That is what people say that she thinks. So that's something that we don't want.
I'll go on her Twitter and I'll show you guys what she actually said.
I don't know. Like, that's kind of where the logic breaks down for me. Because it's like, if you don't want J.K. Rowling to think that support of her game equals an endorsement of her views, then why the fuck are you campaigning on that premise? If that's what you think, if you think that's horrible, it's insane for her to claim or to even believe that support of Harry Potter equals endorsement of her views.
You can't use logic. See, nobody, listen, hey, like, if they hear that, they're just like, oh, so you support it. Okay. All right, well, you're a piece of shit. Okay, yep, there it is.
Then why the fuck are you out here saying, oh, you're playing that game, you must support JK? You're doing her work? Why are you doing that? Wouldn't it be better to instead not tie these two completely unrelated things together? Not treat this like it's fucking propaganda. It's not. I'll tell you something else. Okay. I was actually not going to play this game because I'm not a fan of J.K. Rowling. I do not like J.K. Rowling.
You want to know what I think? I don't even know what she said. I have no idea. I don't care. I'm not voting for her. She's not running for office. I don't give a fuck. Who cares?
I just, for me, I felt like she had kind of soured the whole franchise, and I was just not really, I didn't really have any plans. I wasn't that interested.
I'll skip ahead a bit.
But after seeing the absolutely disgusting behavior by aunties, harassing and witch hunting some of the kindest streamers that I know, some of the kindest people that I know, I have seen so many people that I know. These are like incredibly compassionate, thoughtful people. They don't have a hateful bone in their body. I've seen these people get being witch hunted, literally witch hunted.
Yep.
And I've been spoiled. Like, I've read all these spoilers. And I saw all this shit going down. And I realized, like, I don't want to pass your purity test. I would actually rather that the people who think that you can label somebody a bigot just because they bought a video game or they played a video game, I would like it if all those people would just find me and block me. Yeah. And touch grass.
That's the thing. You just block them. Like, yeah, just stop talking to them. Problem solved. They're gone.
I've seen this. I'm sure you've all seen it by now. This is the website.
Got taken down.
Have they streamed that wizard game? So you type in the streamer's name here, and it lets you know if you're good to go harass them or not.
Yeah.
Or to call them hateful or not.
I'm going to skip ahead to where she's talking about the actual tweets and stuff like that, okay? Yeah, we're going to move a little bit ahead because there's a lot to this.
There have been people posting this kind of pictures and saying that, oh, this is a Jewish caricature. And so that's why the game is anti-Semitic. What the fuck? Do you realize how offensive that is? And how fucked up that is to say? And just unhinged to say that. I cannot believe that people are saying this shit and then you're blaming JK. You think, oh no, it's the game.
What she's saying is they put the pieces together and then they blame it on somebody else. I will say the goblin thing is very common. I feel like a lot of goblins, there is like overlap between like Jewish stereotypes and like the way the goblins are depicted in modern fantasy. But I think that with as much nuance to it as there is, that it's really not a direct connection, and anybody who's trying to draw that is usually coming into it with an agenda.
Here's another, it's like Alex Jones level of insanity. Here's one. So here's from the video game. They say, oh, well, this goblin artifact is suspiciously like a shofar, a horn played during Jewish high holy days, and the bank running goblins played it to annoy witches and wizards. It's a literal horn. It's a fucking horn. Do you really?
Oh my god, this is like the left-wing version of QAnon. Holy fuck. Oh god, this is crazy. Yeah, it's like they come out with like all these like really abstract comparisons, and it's like, yeah, this is like this one thing that happened in like 1612, and you know, it reminds you because if you take 1612 and like what are the two differences between those numbers? It's 4, and then 4 of them, what's half of 4 is 2. World War II. Remember Hitler? Yep, see that? That's how easy it is. It's going right under your nose.
Realize how many cultures have had horns? Like every one. Like every single culture has used a horn at some point. Because animals grow fucking horns. It's easy to make an instrument out of it. Like, this is fucking insane. And then people are like, oh, well, look, but the horn in the game had a wedge of gorgonzola cheese stuffed inside, and that means that it's also a Jewish reference, anti-Semitic. You know why?
Can we please also acknowledge that, and this is something that I really wish we could move away from, even though it's so entertaining, is making videos that will get hundreds of thousands of views about a tweet that has 86 likes. Guys, there are nutballs out there. There are nutballs that think the earth is flat. There are more nutballs that think the earth is flat that think any of this stuff. Way more flat earthers than this. So just put that into perspective. It's like a flat earther test. Is this so stupid that less people believe in it than believe in the flat earth theory? And if the answer is yes, then it's probably not talking about. It's not worth talking about, excuse me.
Because the cheese block in it is not kosher.
And then also the best part about this, let's go ahead and keep this in mind. So this is the, how can you tell if there's a tweet that is being made by a person who is off their rocker? Number 1, the tweet is being made by a person with a private account. Number 2, replies have been disabled. And number 3, they're only replying to themselves. Oh, and number 4, anime profile picture. That's a little bit of a bonus, but, you know, there you go.
They picked a specific type of cheese because...
Oh, it has more retweets than likes, too. Or a very high ratio.
This is y'all, this is actually Alex Jones levels of batshit.
No, it's not, because even Alex Jones said QAnon was stupid. And these people are just as dumb as that. It's actually even dumber than Alex Jones. We're going to go to the last 3 minutes of it.
They are actively committing genocide. I have lost everything because of Russia. So, everybody that plays that game, you're now my enemy. Everybody who plays that game, you're now a fascist.
She's talking about Atomic Heart.
Is that what we're going to be doing? No. No. We are not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I don't like this train of thought. I don't like the narrative. I don't like this culture war bullshit. If you want to boycott something because you don't like something about it, go right ahead. I won't play Atomic Heart Because I don't want to. But if I did, it wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't mean that suddenly I'm pro-Russia. This is just not a road this is not a road we should go down. Earlier in the chat, I saw somebody say, I love the game, but it sucks that my friends called me a Nazi sympathizer for buying it.
What kind of a friend calls you that? Bro, if somebody called me that, I'd be like, okay, all right, well, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else now. That's weird.
They're not your friends. Your friends know you. The relationships that we have with each other are based on mutual understanding, love, and trust. This is what keeps our communities together. If you're ready to throw all that out the window, call someone a fascist, call someone a Nazi, call someone a bigot, tell them that they're hateful. That doesn't line up with anything that you know in your own experience, you are being brainwashed. If you go out there and say...
I think it's a bold claim to assume that these people have friends that they could call Nazis. Because it would be predicated on the assumption that they have friends. Which is not true.
That yes,
so this is a hypothetical.
Everybody who plays the game endorses her views. You're working against yourself.
It's bold to assume they have a brain.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I've heard people say, yeah, well, the problem is it's not that she will get some money, it's the fact that she will get some influence. And she believes that support of the game equals endorsement of her political views. She thinks that it means everybody agrees with her. So we're going to make sure that only people who agree with her, or the people that we say agree with her, are going to be the ones playing the game. Now, how much sense does that make? None. Think of all the good these people could accomplish if they channel all the time and energy witch hunting into actual good.
They're not going to accomplish any good, because the good that they can accomplish would require having an IQ above the room temperature. And they don't have that. They can't accomplish anything good because they're too stupid to do that. So what they're reduced down to is complaining and getting mad about people for playing a video game. Because it's easy, it's accessible, it requires no effort, and it can make them feel good. There's never going to be a point where they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to move on and actually like do something productive, because they don't have the capacity to do that. You don't get mad at like a dog for not being able to talk. No, you don't get mad at your cat because whenever you say get off the table, it doesn't get off the table. Bro, it just doesn't know. It's a fucking cat. But who gives a shit? You just have to pick the cat up and put it on the ground.
Good causes. Or how about actual causes for...
It's not the cat's fault.
For the betterment of trans people. I never hear about any of this shit.
Because it takes work.
Didn't Tennessee just pass a ban on people in drag even being outside? I haven't heard a peep about that.
How could you? Why would you hear anything about that? These people probably don't even know where Tennessee is on a map. Why would they give a shit? They have no idea. That they don't care about that. And also, if they want to solve that, they have to call people. They have to, like, you know, contact representatives. They have to read the bill. Well, that's already off the table. They're not even going to read the bill. So what are we thinking about? It's not going to happen.
If people would expend even a fraction of the energy that they've expended over harassing people for a video game, instead on bringing awareness to genuinely damaging stuff that's affecting transgender people, maybe we'd really be getting somewhere. J.K. Rowling isn't even American. How the fuck is she gonna...
I didn't even know that. I had no idea. Yeah, she's British? That's crazy.
Like, have influence over What people are voting on in Tennessee or in Kansas or in Maryland.
I literally had no idea. Why would I care?
Get a grip.
Get a grip. There it is. So basically, all of this was started because Zepla went on Twitter and talked about basically that these people don't have any real problems, or some, you know, effective version. I don't want to misquote her, but she compared like their problems to her having to like leave her country in Ukraine, and how vitriolic people were being, you know, which against something that is proportionally like much less. Now, the one thing that is like a fucking trigger for any of these online perpetual victims is to tell them that the way they feel doesn't matter, or to contextualize it around real life. So, like, for example, if this person is like, you know, oh, I'm being killed, people are trying to kill me on Twitter, and then somebody comes and says, that's crazy because somebody tried to kill me in real life, that's going to upset them because it reminds them that everything that they're doing doesn't matter. So it very upset a lot of people on Twitter. They were very angry about this. They were pissed off. Obviously, we totally support Zepla. This is ridiculous that she's even getting any hate for this whatsoever. And I will say that, you know, I forgot, I think it's Socrates. If you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss will stare back into you. Don't waste your time talking to these people, trying to argue with them, win them over, or anything like that. Nietzsche, I thought it was it Nietzsche or was it Socrates? It was one of the two. I forgot which one. Anyway, one way or another, if you spend all of your time fighting and arguing with people, it was Einstein? Oh, that's when everybody clapped. Yeah, I forgot. If you spend all your time arguing with these people, all you're going to be doing is getting mad. That's it. So why waste your time doing that? Why worry about it? I think that every single time that you try to justify yourself, or you try to argue against somebody else that has an opinion that you think is ridiculous, you actually, like, you embolden their opinion. You make their opinion like bigger than what it is, because it really just doesn't matter that much. Yeah, don't cast your pearls before swine. Yeah, they have no power over you. Exactly. And like, my best advice to anybody who is dealing with this kind of stuff, never argue with an idiot. They'll bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. Exactly. Seems crazy to me. Transparent supporters born into a society far more tolerant decades ago. Privileges blinds them. How good they have it. Well, I don't know what the problems and like the lifestyle of somebody who's trans is. I'm not trans. I know a handful of people that are, but like, I'm not an expert into this stuff. I'm not going to claim to be. I have no idea. It's just like, I'm a guy, and you know, that's about it. So yeah, I mean, to me, I think the more that you spend, the more time you spend arguing with people and like trying to fight with them, the more it just makes them want to fight and complain about you. Yeah, it feeds them. And the best thing to do is to laugh at them, which is usually what I do, because I think it's funny, it's entertaining, but it's to laugh at them and just ignore them and blow them off. That's it. That's the only way, because that like, there's nothing they can do about that. They can't argue. Yeah, like, nothing. They just have to deal with it. Yo, let's see here. When can we expect the true story of Cataclysm? Well, soon, man. It's going to be very soon. Like, everyone just explained science. Well, I don't know what she said. And I don't care. I don't care what a writer for a children's book says about sexuality. Why the fuck would I care about that? I don't want to hear about this. This is why am I wasting my time listening to her? She's not a doctor. She's not a scientist. What the fuck does she know? Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, why does this even matter? It's like people, like celebrities, going on and talking about how bad, you know, it's like some political thing is. Like, what the fuck do you know? The only thing you did, you pretended to be a fucking politician 20 years ago in a movie. You don't know anything. Like, man, checking out. Yeah, I mean, it's not even worth considering her opinion. Yeah, let's see here. What Bill Gates talking about vaccines? I think that is less of the case with Bill Gates, because Bill Gates invests a lot of money and time into doing things that are associated with that. Like, he's more involved with that. I don't want to make this a vaccine debate, but can we please admit that a person that has a massive foundation that works with vaccines and dealing with them and administering healthcare is different than a writer who is just commenting on something that is scientific? Like, can we acknowledge that, like, there is a much larger disconnect between the two things with J.K. Rowling versus Bill Gates? Tremendously more disconnected? Yeah, okay. So, good.